Hi, my name is Wojtek Ziemilski. First of all, I want to thank all of you for this amazing, powerful performance that you gave tonight. Yeah, I think...
Dziękuję. Dziękuję.
And I think the fact that there's a double applause, that you had one applause before and now that we feel there's a need for another applause, tells you a lot. And it also, I think, speaks to the fact that there's such a powerful tension between the real and the fictional. It's as if the second applause was for the real, and the first one was for the fictional. Like, here you are, the real you. And maybe my first question, no, that's going to be my second question. I'm sorry, we'll keep that. My first question will be, how was it for you?
I don't know. It's a very hard question. For me, it was a pleasure to be here. Actually, it was a very... I really don't know how to talk about this piece because it looks you don't have space for anything else than exist here with you doing this. So there is nothing else, and it looks like 4 days or something for me doing this. But I think it was a very special day to be here. So for me, I'm still living in the performance, I think. Maybe how was it?
You can say it was shit. You can say we were the worst audience in the world. It's fine.
It's not true. Like, I think everyone lives a bit the tension. So.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, so it has been a while. We haven't performed it. I guess the last time was in Zagreb, and maybe somehow it is special to be here in the Ciało Umysł festival and in Poland, because Diana also has like a special connection with Poland. I would say, even though she hates the cold, she loves the people.
Maybe in Portuguese.
You can say in
Portuguese.
I
can translate.
Ok. Para mim é prazer estar aqui porque nunca tinha estado na Polónia. É a minha primeira vez.
For me, it's a pleasure to be here. I've never been to Poland before, so it's my first time.
Para mim esta peça é muito especial porque parte de lugar de oposição, ou seja, lugar afastado, fora do comum, fora do estereotipo.
It's a very special piece for me because it starts off from a very distant point, from something which is for me far away from the norm.
Yeah. Eu gosto, ou seja, para mim a performance tem este lado do falar do real e não do ficcional.
For me, performance has this really strong side of being on the side of the real and not of the fiction.
Yeah. Penso que estas poderão ser as minhas palavras sobre esta performance e hoje eu senti que dentro desta sala havia uma atmosfera gigantesca de energia muito positiva que depois nós sentimos essa energia vinda de volta até nós no final da própria apresentação, o que é mágico.
And so I felt tonight really a very special, incredibly warm atmosphere which came like a wave to us at the end.
Obrigado a todos vocês que estão aqui nesta sala e que não ganharam o vosso tempo de vir até aqui, trazerem a vossa energia para nós também.
And so I'd like to thank all of you who are here for having come here And lost, I mean won your time by bringing it here and giving us this energy. Obrigado. Thank you. There's also a hidden reason behind my question, and that is that I read in several interviews and texts that you wrote about the search within the discomfort, that you kind of embrace discomfort. And I was, at the same time, it's something which I think we can all relate to somehow, but at the same time, it seems a little bit crazy to be exposing that in front of the audience.
Yes, that's not a new thing for those Portuguese people that know me, that are here also. But it's also interesting me the idea of exposing the body as he is, with the fragility, without these things that makes me be normalizing or efficient or whatever, and to work the body as physic, how he is, and how you can construct and deconstruct the idea of utopic body through this, through the fragility and strengths and frictions and tension and also the oppression of the bodies that can be also very fascinating. So it's kind of trigger because it represents also what we do in society, but also it can have a lot of layers in it.
And how is it then working with performers, these amazing performers who seem to be able-bodied and are incredibly powerful? How does that work in terms of, you know, this working together of these bodies?
Sometimes it's very hard because he speaks Portuguese and the other speak English, and one is my left leg and the other is my right leg. And most of the time I really don't know which language I'm talking. So I'm talking the wrong language most of the time to the wrong person, and upside down in a very complex position. And then it's like, my left leg, no, and it's like this kind of brain twist.
That's the socks. It's the split.
It's really complex situation, but also this piece is super detailed. So even, you know, if the hand is 1 centimeter up or down, it matters. So it's also really about physics and how you support and how the bodies can be extension of each other or prostheses of each other. So how you work that. And it's actually very interesting because every piece it happens something that you discover a new trick or something that can be how you find the balance. Or so yeah, I found very special also because you are all the time challenging this idea of perception of the bodies and the norms.
And how is the process? How does that look? Are you the kind of director who is going to just say, you do this and you do that?
No, it's it's a nightmare. No, it's sometimes because I'm not that person that arrives to the studio and say, we're going to do this today, or this is the piece. No, I don't work like that. So we are kind of discovering through, it can be from games, from children that create oppression, or it can be from a situation that happened like water spitting or something like that. So also the acaso, I don't know.
The chance?
Yeah, it matters. So, and I work with that. And, but maybe you can also, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that it kind of took a while before we got to know each other also physically in terms of impulses, in terms of like logics or patterns of movement. some of the first weeks, it really took us time not only to understand each other spoken language, but also the physical language, which was also very inspiring in the way Diana thinks about body and communicates things about, most simply, about the legs with her hands.
And did you know each other before the project?
Me and Bartek, we work in we met in Krakow, in Krikoteka, in, I don't know when?
7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, and then he came to do a performance of mine with the community, with disabled and non-disabled artists in Lisbon. And then it was this one. But this piece was also very scary because it was an autobiographic piece, so it's also how I reconstruct my body through the other's body when most of the bodies don't understand my body, even me. So it's very complex in terms of how the non-normative body works or how the bodies work through physics. And Joãozinho was just a happy acaso. Coincidence. And they actually have the same size, and they have the same size of shoes, and they have
practically the same.
Same pain in the knee. So it's really, it was not. I didn't make an audition saying
and
I
the knee
want.
is really, it's genuine.
Yeah.
You really have a.
Not fictional. It's real.
Wow. Wow.
It's just it's because I was never with both at the same time before they are in the studio, so it was not an audition with the size and that thing. No.
Were you scared?
When I saw them?
When they arrived? I ask as a director who's usually terrified when he works for the first time with the performers with whom he hasn't worked with.
I don't know, because they are big, and I'm that kind of choreographer that I say, put yourself on top of me, and I'm 45 kilos, and they are like 2 meters person, and so it's like, I really don't know very, and then I say, no, this is not possible, I'm gonna die here, so, So it's kind of a process of discovering, okay, it's not gonna happen.
Were you scared?
Yeah, in the beginning, yeah. Really, really scared. No início tive bastante medo, porque para mim foi a primeira vez trabalhar com um corpo muito diferente do meu, um corpo frágil.
I was very scared at the beginning because it was the very first time I had worked with a body that different from mine, one which is fragile. I'm not even sure if that is the word.
Porque sabendo historiar do corpo dela, teve acidente que lhe meteu a ficar de cadeira de rodas e poder trabalhar em termos de risco elevado, saber que qualquer coisa pode acontecer, meteu-me a trabalhar com o meu consciente e inconsciente mais ativo do que propriamente o normal que eu trabalharia com outras pessoas.
So knowing her story, the story of her body, the fact that she had an accident, and that she is now on a wheelchair made me incredibly conscious of the risk, and I was constantly thinking consciously and unconsciously about what could happen.
E para mim, o trabalhar para nós os três, penso que levou tempo a estarmos num bom porto, mas foi muito gratificante, mas ao mesmo tempo apesar de estarmos a falar duas línguas diferentes, eu penso que o corpo não precisa de uma língua para estar em comunicação, e nem de alturas e nem de diferenças.
I think it was a long process, but we got to a really good point because I think that the bodies, although we may be speaking two different languages, they do manage to communicate and to have a common tongue.
And what was challenging also was not to be over careful, not to anticipate or like think, oh, I need to be all the time attentive and helping. No, like not at all.
Because sometimes you have the saviors, you know, like people want to save you, and then they do actually, it's even worse. So it's like the body works through physics. So if sometimes it just needs space, you know, and then it's actually very wise. We just don't give the time for the things to work.
Did you have to kind of tell them from time to time, whoa, it's okay?
You know, because I work with kind of risk without being dangerous, because I don't want to become more disabled.
Yeah,
but
sounds fair.
Yeah, but it's very tricky, you know, because I do very challenging stuff that can be really, if it slips or if it's the sweat or everything, it matters in here. So
oh yes, we saw.
Yeah, because sometimes like it's okay, I'm gonna really sleep her. It's now that I'm gonna sleep her, and then it's not happening, and we are okay. But then it has a lot of tricks. So it's kind of, some parts are really illusionism that you create in order to do the thing. So it's also interesting, the non-gravitational state of the bodies, but we have the gravity happening. I cannot fight her. But this is a thing that I work with the risk without becoming dangerous. And this is a very conscient thing that all the team have present all the time. And
sorry,
yeah.
if you want to. You said about the tricks, that you use tricks. Do you sometimes feel like you're cheating? Fazer batota.
I don't know if it's cheating. No, I think it's more creating a state, you know, a kind of state that creates these suspension moments, illusionism moments, but it's really real what's happening. So it's not kind of cheating, it's creating this state, these mutations of the body, these hybridism that rise these moments.
Maybe now is a good moment to ask you to participate, all of you. If you have any questions you want to ask or anything you want to say. Jeśli ktoś by chciał coś powiedzieć albo zadać pytanie, to jest...
Foi em brasileiro, em português.
A pergunta será em português, não em inglês. Diana, quanto de esforço vocês, né, em termos de concentração, você já disse que não pode ter momento de distração, né?
What an incredible effort you had.
Yes.
It was really unbelievable.
Como é que é isso tudo para vocês três?
And you said you cannot have 1 second of distraction. Sì, continuo. Sì, continuo.
Quanto de essa questão do momento de treinamento, porque isso não é só aqui, essa performance só aqui. É o tempo que ela precisa para poder se concentrar, de treinamento, para que ela possa alcançar essa beleza do que nós vimos hoje aqui.
And I find it absolutely unbelievable, the effort that has to be put not just in what we see here, but in the training that had to be there before we managed to see the beauty that happens here, but which is so obvious. Obrigado.
Jeżeli ktoś chce zadać pytanie, someone wants to ask a question.
I'm going to use sign language. It was I've loved your performance so very much, and just want to talk about the exclusion. I saw Diana and your colleagues that your dance was of two worlds merging with one another. And my question is, I mean, I just want to say that you were not excluded, you were included in all this, Diane. And in your personal life, do you feel excluded or not? How do you feel personally outside of this space?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I don't know if it's the same in sign language, Portuguese sign language. So, thank you. But yeah, of course, I'm a non-normative body, so society makes me feel every day very aware that I'm less than everyone else, that I need to say thank you for having access, that I need to ask to have access. So I'm of course I feel like for the simple reason that no one ever knows where is the disabled toilet or where is the elevator or where is the, you need to ask where is stuff in order to come here. Here is a very comfortable place for me because I'm also the director, so everyone do what I say, so I don't need to say thank you or sorry, but I'll try to say anyway, because I think but it's not saying thank you for allow me to use a toilet, you know, so it's a different layer of things. I think society also, most of the time, are not aware that most of us need help in some parts of our lives, and so it's about also I spend a lot of time talking about ramps or about stairs and toilets, and this is a thing that I absolutely hate because it's not really fun, and so this is a pleasure for me to be here without needing to dance with the wheelchair, because sometimes when I'm working with companies, we don't have the time because the market needs to premiere super fast the performance, and we don't have the time to find other ways to do the things. So this is just a simple thing to use in dance to go to the point A or point B, but I like to challenge more the bodies and how we can work things. But yeah, about non-normative bodies in performance, they were excluded forever. So, and then they are used as a meme because they do a thing very virtuosistic and they put this kind of very inspirational musics. So that we call in disability studies inspirational porn. So yeah, but sometimes also it's fun to trigger people in order to see different. Thank you. It could take hours, this, but if you want, we can talk after.
Ktoś jeszcze chciałby zadać pytanie?
Okay, so if not, I'd like to thank you very much and thank you everyone for coming and being here. It was a pleasure. And we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.